Hello, this is Darren from Grill's Cottage Gardens Plants in Cornwall in the UK. This is a not a short video, it's quite a long video I think, to be honest. What's the day today? So it's the 10th of August 2026 when I'm filming this. So this is just all about cider. Today I've been bottling cider. So the cider, this cider that you see in front of you, it's only a little bits on the bottom of the glass, but these started their journey. I picked an orchard in North Devon. I'm in Cornwall on the 4th of September last year. Apples were early last year, and it was pressed. I think it was pressed maybe a few days later. So possibly by the 10th of September it was pressed, and then fermentation started. So to make a half decent cider, first things first, do not I say do not. What I would say is, if you want to try it, you can, okay? And that is, if you make cider with cookers and dessert apples, it's not going to be a very nice cider. It is going to be just about drinkable. I've done it myself the first year I made cider, and I drunk it, but it wasn't very pleasant. Okay, so to make cider, you need proper cider varieties to get a half decent cider. Now this is flat cider in here, okay? I don't put no fizz in it. It is just a flat cider, which is a traditional cider. You can carbonate it if you want. You can look into that. You can use sugars to carbonate it. That's the easiest way to carbonate cider. So talking about the cider and the varieties, really. So let's look at this one here. So this one here, it's yellowy golden. It is made up from 3 cider apples. It's made up from Stoke Red. Stoke Red is a bitter, sharp cider apple from Somerset. It originates from a place called Rodney Stoke in Somerset. Somerset is very well known, Devon and Herefordshire as well, very well known for cider varieties. So yes, Stoke Red came from Somerset. What is Stoke Red? What does it bring to the cider? So Stoke Red is what you call a bitter sharp cider. A bitter sharp will give you, you know, when you drink the cider, a decent quality cider, and it's just gone back your throat and you get this dry tan in your throat. That's what it will bring to the cider. So because it's a bitter sharp, it brings that tanning, what they call tannings. Tannings is that dryness in the cider which people are looking for often more than not. So you have that in this cider. Then we have one called Tremletts Bitter. That's a Devonshire cider apple. That one is called a bittersweet. Get it right. That's a bittersweet cider apple. A bittersweet cider apple, it will give you a little bit of tannins and a little bit of sweetness. And then that other apple that I've got in there is actually not a, it can be used as a cider apple, and it's okay as a cider apple. It's called Tom Putt's. Tom Putt's, possibly from Devon, from the Honiton area. It's more of a sweet apple, really, more than anything. It's more, it can be used as a dessert apple, but it's also known in the cider industry to be able to use for cider. So it brings some sweetness to the cider. It's not my favourite cider apple to use. I probably won't use it next year, or rather this year. So just saying that, it's not my go-to pure sweet cider apple to use. So this is probably going to be a sweet cider. Let's give it a try. Yeah. Sweet, not much of a kick at the end. So if you like a sweet cider, you can put more pure sweet compared to bitter sharp and bittersweet apples. Let's look at this one here. So this one is come from the same orchard in North Devon, and this has got Tremletts Bitter, much like the other cider, so that brings the bittersweetness, a little bit of tannin. Tremletts Bitter is a Devonshire apple, I believe, and a lot of people call it mousy in a cider. It takes a long time to mature, so if I drink it now, it'll be nice, But in 12 months time, this cider will be even better, because it tends to take a long time to mature. The taste flavour of the Tremletts Bitter, which is bittersweet apple. Then what we've got in here as well, we have got Stoke Reds. Stoke Reds is my go-to cider apple for bitter sharp. So it's going to give those tannins more so than the Tremletts Bitter. As again, it's Somerset apple. And then what I've got in here is my favourite go-to pure sweet cider apple. It's classed as a cider apple. You could eat it as a dessert apple. I've tasted it. It's not a great dessert apple at all, to be honest. Sweet Alford. Sweet Alford is a Devon apple, and it's pure sweet, and what it brings is a sweetness to the cider. That is your compounds of what you're looking for a half decent cider. So you're looking for, you know, a pure sweet apple. You're looking for a bitter sharp and a bitter sweet. If you want a sweet cider, you want more of a pure sweet in there and less of the bitter sharp and bitter sweet. If you want a drier cider, then you can say that you can have less pure sweets and more maybe of the pure of the bitter sharps and the bitter sweets. So when you look at this one, I think this one is more golden in colour than the other one. And this is going to give me a kick afterwards. Let's try it. Yeah, a bit of a kick, not as much as I would have liked, but that is a nice cider. It's still got the sweetness when you drink it. So making cider, what else do you need? You need a fermenter. You can start off with a basic plastic fermenter. You'll need things like demijohns or bottles to bottle them if you want to. You can also ferment them in demijohns if you get the right. You can actually get bubblers to put on top of that. So if you want to go small scale, do it in demijohns. If you want to do it in a bigger scale, then you can actually do it in fermented buckets. You can buy them online. I would suggest there's a company, a place called Dunker's Well near Honiton called Vigo Press. They're my go-to people for equipment for cider, making cider. Vigo Press. Okay, so look them up. There, you can actually visit the showroom if you want to. I visited the showroom last year. Bought a brand new German Speedle fermenter. I bought a pasteurizer for making apple juice. What else did I buy? Can't remember now. Bought quite a few things. Oh yes, that's right, I bought a new press. I forgot about that, didn't I? So I bought a 50-litre press, but you can buy a little hobby press, 12-litre hobby press. And then I also bought electric scratter miller, but you can buy a handheld one, and you can pick these up online secondhand on eBay and places like Marketplace. You can buy all that equipment secondhand if you don't want to put much money into it to begin with, to see if you like it, and then maybe in a year or two and you're thinking might want some better equipment. That's what I did. I started off with a little 12-litre hobby press and a little hand scratter. God, and it killed my arm because I was beginning to do a lot more cider. So the electric miller for me is perfect. The bapple goes in the top, and it basically pulverizes the apple, and you have a bucket underneath, and then once you've got a bucket of pulp, pomace, and then you put that into your press, and then you press your apple juice into obviously your fermenters. So I've bottled 11 today. They're not completely clear yet. They will clear now. The bottle, the sediment will settle, and then we can drink this almost straight away. So that's 11. I've still got 2 more to do, 2 more demijohns to do. I bottle them in demijohns, and that's out of a 60-litre fermenter, and that is also out of a 23-litre fermenter. So I'll end up with probably 13 demijohns. So that's the sort of scale I do for my own use. Don't sell it, too much hassle, a lot of legislation, a lot of registration. So it's for me, it's not worth it. I know a lot of people that have, and they do a really great job, and that's all that matters, isn't it? So this is what I mean by basic fermenter. You can pick these up quite cheap. a bucket like that. Okay. Whereas now I've got this one in the garage. This is a German fermenter. I found it makes much better cider, but there's nothing wrong with the basic buckets to get you going. And then, you know, both my ciders that I've made this year, they're both very nice. And one was made in the Spiedel German fermenter, and one was made in the cheap bucket. So, you know, it's made a half decent cider. That's all you should worry about. So there you are. So if you want to like or subscribe, please do so. Also, if you comment or like if you wish, but if you comment, I'll do my best to reply to you if you have a question. If I've got the answer, I will reply to you and let you know. Take care.